In light of the circumstances we have experienced over the past period, many parents have faced the challenge of reassuring their children and protecting them from feelings of fear or anxiety that may arise from what is happening around them. A child may not fully understand the details, but they can sense emotions and notice changes in the atmosphere around them. Here, the role of the family has been essential in providing a sense of safety and reassurance, and in responding to children's questions and emotion in a thoughtful way that helps them navigate the period with calm and confidence. So let's all welcome Dr. Maram Aldaihani, occupational therapist. It's really a pleasure to have you, and good morning, Kuwait.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me.
First of all, Dr. Maram, how can parents explain what is happening around them, to children in a simple way without frightening them?
Exactly.
These sirens and, all the commotion.
First of all, thank you so much for choosing this topic. We know the situation here is like unstable. It's very like sudden. So the children doesn't have like any understanding of the headline and they heard about, but they can feel the atmosphere around them and inside of the house. So if the parent choose to explain the situation for their children, we always recommend using the sandwich technique, which is what? It's used first, we use the safety. Let's say we need to ensure the safety around them, all the thing we did for the house or inside the house just to ensure their safety. Then we break down the information for them or the news. Then we close it again with a safety like ending. This way it will help the child understand what's going on, but still they will memorize and will understand it, the environment around them will be safe. And also, I always recommend the parent to use the Socratic questions. So if the child asks you directly or suddenly about anything around the news, or they heard it from their peers or from family members, so always ask them, what do you mean by that? Or what did you understand from that? That will help them to like break down the information from their own perspective.
So you redirect the question.
Exactly. So if they misunderstand something, or for example, they understand in their own special way, so you can explain it according to their age and their understanding. So not to feed them information above their age.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's true. If you give them something above their age, they wouldn't
Exactly, they
digest
cannot process that.
So children can sense their parents' stress even if nothing is said. How can parents manage their own emotions in front of their children?
Exactly, it's very true. So children are very, like, let's say,
so
observant.
They know the parents if they were mad.
Exactly. Their
upset,
whole life is around their parents. Yes, they can feel the fear, they can feel the anxiety, they can feel all the simple changes or even the small expression they have, because this is their parent. They know all the small detail about them. So denying your emotion or denying your not explaining what you feel to your child, he will for sure understand something is wrong and he will lose the trust with you. So always validate the emotion, explain you feel anxiety, explain that you are feeling uncertain, but still ensure them you are doing all the equipment need, did all the what they call it the procedure you need to help the child to protect the environment that you have.
Dr. Maram, what are the signs that may indicate a child is feeling fear or anxiety because of the current situation?
It's very, let's say, vary from one child to another. So depending on their age group, depending on their personality, and also their confidence level. But usually what we hear, especially in these...
common one.
Yeah, exactly. The most common three are bedwetting. So it's very common now. We can see it. So, or they will start like withdrawing from their room. So I will stop sleeping in my room. I will start going back to my parent room to sleep there because I don't feel safe sleeping alone. I feel being attacked and so on like that. Also, we're gonna notice they will avoid going by themselves or independently, for example, the grocery shop or for their friend house. No, I will stick to my parents. I will be with them 100% all the time because I don't feel safe. So if you notice these three, so it's better to start talk to them, to break the information down for them, to help them understand the situation. It's serious, yes, but still there's a lot of things we can do to help you calm down, and also we have a plan as a parent.
So if a child starts asking difficult questions about what is happening, how should parents respond? Should they tell the full truth, for example?
Let's understand the children usually are smart. So we cannot lie on them, or we cannot like give them the false information.
Oh,
so
definitely.
exactly,
Nowadays, social
especially
media
yes, yeah.
all
So the
over.
information and the level of the information they are have been exposed to is very high. So we cannot hide information, but still we can break it down and make it easy for them to digest this information, to understand the current situation, but not to increase the fear level. Also, we always recommend talk about their feeling. Always explain. Always try to tell them it's okay to feel fear. It's okay to feel anxiety or to being anxious, because the situation is very sudden. They don't have any back experience. So by validating this emotion and by validating the information they have, they will have like a good personality, a good resilience for the future. So use this question to create like a better personality for the future, and also resilience. So they will be more a resilient person when they grow up.
So what are the most important ways parents can help give their children a sense of safety during this period?
It's very nice and very important for a parent to show all the plan they want to go with inside the house. For example, for sure, we cannot control what's happening outside of our houses, but we can control anything inside my house. Exactly. So by showing them what they've done inside of the house, what are the safety rooms, what are the procedures they need to follow, also explaining them the type of siren they hear. A lot of my clients, when I try to explain the type of siren, they become more relief after a while. We say, okay, all the time what I'm hearing is the safety siren. It's not the dangerous one. So by teach them like for this small information, it will help them to understand, to be calm, and know the house is a safety place for us.
That's definitely correct. You know, by explaining, you know, sometimes the definition, you know, will change their perception.
Exactly, because they heard the headline, but they can't understand what's inside of it.
What's inside?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, is it better to keep children away from news and social media content that may cause fear or stress?
This is very, very important question. For the child, their brain is not like fully developed. So for them, when they are exposed to 24-hour news and hearing the same news over and over, they will start thinking it's happening 100 times a day. So they don't understand it happened once, but we are still talking about it for 3 to 4 interviews. So for them, it keep happening during the day. So they don't understand how many, or for example, the quantity. That will make them more scared. So for me, strictly we need to reduce the exposure using the media or, for example, the TV. Because they cannot even process this information.
Even for us,
exactly,
the adults.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes you feel, you know, unfortunately, everybody becoming an analyst, you know, nowadays.
Exactly.
So, and that's really bad, you know. You don't know which is fake, what's true.
Exactly. The more repetition, it will affect you more. Even if you hear like one good quality, let's say a reporter, for example, anything, but still if you have it with a high repetition, it will start affecting your personality and your anxiety.
Dr. Maram, how can parents maintain a child daily routine, even during the unusual circumstances? And does routine really help calm children?
You cannot even imagine how important is the routine.
Really?
So, yes, so during the, let's say, the regular days, let's say, other than this current situation that we have. So routine play a major role in calming the children, keep them like alert, keep them, for example, keeping the information that they learn during the day, they consolidate this information during the sleep. So if we break the cycle, it will affect their mentality, it will affect their energy level, it affects a lot of things and even their behavior. So by keeping a healthy, balanced routine inside of the house, it will help them to engage and also develop in a healthy way. But if we like lose this routine or lose the structure, it will affect their behavior, number one, and also their mentality.
Some children express fear through crying, anger, or irritability. How should parents, you know, deal with these reactions?
Let's start with validating the emotion. So if we don't validate their emotion, for example, the child will start, their emotion is not important. So they will seek a different way to express it. So for example, if he cries, I'm not supposed to say, yeah, no, you are a boy, you're not supposed to cry. You should be like, you need to tough up. You are stronger than
Man
that.
up.
Exactly, yeah. So by giving like this kind of negative image or negative, let's say, pictures, so the child will start, oh, I need to choose a different way to express my emotion. So maybe you are driving him toward a more negative behavior. He will start hitting, he will start more aggressive.
Okay.
So first of all, we always validate the emotion. Then we ask, why do you feel so? Or what makes you feel like that? So by validating, then we ask more deeper question. We will understand why they express it like that, or what reflects this kind of emotion on them. Here we can fix it, and also avoiding or bypassing like future or secondary problem.
Raising kids is a problem.
It's very tough. It's very tough, and also it does not come with a manual.
That's true.
Exactly. Yeah.
So can experiences like these, you know, leave a psychological impact? I mean, these kind of experiences can leave a psychological impacts on children in the future. If so, how can parents help reduce the impact?
To be honest, from my point of view, it's a very amazing learning experience for the child. I know it's a very tough situation, I know it's very serious, but still we can use it as a learning experience for the child, just to help him, let's say, polish his personality, polishing his problem solving, his understanding, his communication skill. So it's a very good point to increase, or for example, to improve the communication skill between the parent and the child. So he will start to feel more safe between their parents. Oh, I will feel more safe to express myself fully and my fear, my concern to my parent. So with time, you will help to grow more, let's say, resilience, a well-communicated adult in the future. So let's look at it in a new, different way of view.
Okay, let's go to the parents' mistakes.
Yes.
What are the common mistakes parents make when trying to protect their children from anxiety?
So on the beginning, I noticed a lot of parents, for example, when they feel anxiety, they deny it in front of their children, and the children start to have like negative messages. And regarding the child aspect, when the child have an anxiety, they will sometime, not all the time, they will ignore it, and the child will start to develop like more and more anxiety. But let's understand the difference between anxiety and fear. So when you say anxiety, you are fearing from something it never happened yet, or maybe it will never happen. When we say fear, you are fearing from something it's currently here. You're facing this. So by ignoring the anxiety, with time it will transfer to fear. So I will start fearing from things that I'm not supposed to be afraid of. So here we need to be very clear. If you don't address it from younger age, from the beginning stages, the child will develop more, like say, complex problem we can avoid. So communication is key. Avoiding these kind of conversations will lead us to bigger problem the parent will suffer from on the future.
That's true. That's
true.
Are there simple activities that or at home that can help children release fear or stress?
Exactly. So one major thing I always focus on during my work, it's called sensory processing. So we know children now are exposed to very high frequency sound, for example, the sirens, the police sound, a lot of things around them. So too much, let's say, exposure will make the child a little bit, let's say, anxiety, anxious. They cannot feel safe, or maybe sometimes they cannot even focus because of this kind of siren or sounds. So parents are supposed to create simple activity with a lot of sound, a lot like of sudden movement, just to help the child be more calm and becoming more used to this kind of sudden movement or sudden sound around them. So with time, they will keep their, let's say, focus and understand I'm hearing a siren and this is the safe siren. I don't need to be like afraid. I don't need to be like more anxious here. So it will help the children understand the situation around them and also help them to keep more calm during the day.
Dr. Maram, finally, what message would you like to share with the parents in Kuwait during this time to help them reassure their children?
So communication is key. Always communicate with your children and even other parents about their problem and about any kind of question their children are asking. So communication is very important key in this scenario. So how much you communicate with your children, it will help you understand the child, and it's a very strong learning opportunity here. We don't want to lose. So if you ask them, if you communicate with them, you will help develop, let's say, a very strong independent adult in the future and very resilient. And if you ignore this opportunity, you will lose a lot of, like, let's say, potential around your child.
Indeed, Dr. Maram Aldaihani, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Thanks for enlightening us and
Thank you so
our
much.
viewers.
Thank you for having me.
Dear viewers, that was Dr. Maram Aldaihani, occupational therapist. So we'll go for a break after that. We'll come back. Please stay tuned and don't go away.